Greetings and welcome to the Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team video, where today I'm going over the updated rules for the Elucidian Starstriders. But before we get into things, please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video and if you found it useful. Remember, I've got a Discord you can check out for free in the episode description below, an affiliate at Games and Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support as well. But yeah, this is annual/White Dwarf Day, so I'm going over the Elucidian Starstriders, which you can find out for free on the Warhammer community website and on the Kill Team app. So let's get on with it. So for your roster, you still have Recon and Security, which is a very nice mix, one of the best combos in the game, and you are still a 10 operative fixed kill team. So you've got a Lucia Vane, the Canid, the Deathcult Executioner, the Linktree Maester, the Rejuvenant Adept, the Voidmaster, 3 Voidsmen with las guns, and then 1 Voidsman with a rotor cannon and gun butt. So otherwise unchanged, because this is a fixed operative kill team. For faction rules, you have warrants of trade. So up to 3 times per battle, you can use a warrant of trade. Each one specifies when it can be used, and you cannot use the same warrant of trade rule more than once per battle. So you've got consideration. In the select operative step after revealing equipments, you can select one additional piece of equipment that you haven't selected already, which is basically unchanged. You've got coordinate. After the select operative step, you gain 1 CP, which is unchanged. You've got coerce. At the start of the select operative step, you can select one of the following. Your opponent must set up all their equipment before you, or you can set up all your equipment before your opponent sets up any, or your opponent must set up all of their operatives before you set up any. So coerce is insane. It's so good. I believe it used to be reroll who's attacker and defender, but this is way better, especially if you wanted to block off your opponent's equipment pieces, or you wanted to go like, yeah, you know what? I'm defender. I'm deploying my first 3 operatives. Now you deploy everyone else. Amazing. Then you've got explore. As a strategic gambit in the first turning point, perform a free reposition action with 1 friendly operative that's wholly within your drop zone and must end within 3 inches of your drop zone. This is effectively your free scouting option, but not as good. Then you've got bribe. When it's your turn to activate an operative, you can skip that activation, which is amazing. Then you've got seize. In the strategy step after rolling off to decide initiative, you can reroll your dice, which is unchanged. And then you've got adaptable terms, which is only in approved ops. At the end of the second turning point, select a new tac op or a new primary op. If you select a new tac op, any points scored from the previous tac op are discarded. So I don't think you ever use adaptable terms as if something's gone wrong. Generally, I would always take coordinate for the +1 command point. Consideration isn't always necessary now. I'm a huge fan of taking coerce, and then probably I would flex between explore, bribe, and seize. So like you're always spending one of your warrants of trade on coordinate for the extra command point. Then you've got coerce to play around that. And then obviously, if you need an extra scouting option, you can go explore or consideration. And then you've also got bribe if you wanted to pass an activation, if you're out activated versus hordes, or rule on the initiative if you need it against elites. So very, very nice. You've also got privateer support assets. So once per firefight phase, when a friendly Navis or Elucia Vane operative performs a shoot action, you can select one of the following privateer support asset range weapons for it to use. You cannot use an asset more than once per battle. Whenever a friendly operative is using an asset, determine cover saves differently. Instead, if the target has a cover save, if any of its part of its base is underneath a vantage terrain, then it's in cover. Note that while this can affect the target's cover save, you still must select a valid target as normal. In other words, the shot is guided by the operative, but the shot comes from above, which is why cover is done differently. So you've got the Archaeotech Beam, which is 4 attacks, hit on 3, 6, 7, heavy reposition only, piercing 2, silent. So effectively unchanged. Then you've got the Plasma Battery, which is new, 5 attacks, hit on 4s, 5, 6, heavy reposition only, lethal 5 up, piercing 1, silent, which is very, very nice. Then you've got the Macro Cannon, which is 5 attacks, hit on 4s, 4, 5, heavy reposition only, piercing crits 1, saturate, silent, torrent 2, which is very tempting. Then you've got the Guided Shell, which is 5 attacks, hit on 4s, 3, 5, blast 2, heavy reposition only, silent. So this is unchanged. And then you've got the Cluster Bomb, which is 5 attacks, hit on 4s, 2, 3, heavy blast 3, reposition only, silent. So effectively unchanged. The Macro Cannon and Plasma Battery are new, but you could always go turning point 1, Archeo Beam, then Plasma Battery and the Macro Cannon, then fall back to like your Guided Shell. So having more options kind of trades off of most of them only being once per battle. For strategy ploys, you have lethal proximity. Whenever an operative is shooting an enemy operative within 6 inches of it, that friendly operative's ranged weapons, excluding assists, have balanced, so this is unchanged. Then you've got State Claim. Place one of your claim markers in the kill zone. Whenever a friendly operative is shooting against, fighting, or retaliating against an enemy operative that's within 3 inches, you gain Accurate 1, and then you remove it in the ready step. This is unchanged. Then you've got Undaunted Explorers. The first time an attack dice inflicts damage on each friendly operative during the turning point, in the resolve attack dice step, you can halve it to a minimum of 2, rounding up. This has actually changed. Before you had to be on objectives within 6 inches of the enemy drop zone. Now this is just kill zone wide, which is very, very good. Then you've got Quick March, which used to be a different name. Then whenever a friendly operative is using the reposition action during its activation, you can add +1 move, but you must end that move closer to your opponent's drop zone. And now you cannot use a private support asset if you use this rule during the activation. So if you do move the 7 inches, you now can't benefit from the privacy support asset, which is fair because it was quite unfair the way we could do that before. So otherwise, effectively generally buffs apart from Quick March, which is nice to see. Then for your firefight ploys, you've got Combined Arms. Use this ploy after rolling attack dice for a friendly operative. If it's shooting an enemy operative that's been shot by another friendly operative during the turning point, you can reroll any of your attack dice. You cannot use this ploy with a privateer support asset, so unchanged. Then you've got Survivalist. Use this firefight ploy when a friendly operative is activated and not within control range of enemy operatives. That friendly operative gains D3 plus 2 lost wounds, and you can only use this ploy for each operative only once per battle. Unchanged. Then you've got Great Endurance. Use this firefight ploy during a friendly Navis operative's activation. Until the end of its activation, add 1 to its APL stat. Unchanged. And then you've got Well Drilled. Use this firefight ploy when a friendly Navis operative is activated. Select one friendly Navis operative visible and within 3. When that first operative is activated, you can activate the other, and then you just group activate 2. So unchanged as well. So generally, still really good. For operatives, you have Elucidian Vane. She has 3 APL now, used to be 2, 6-inch move, 4 up save, 8 wounds. She's got the Heirloom Relic Pistol, which is 4 attack, Xenon freeze, 4-5 range, 8 piercing crits, 1 seek light. This is unchanged. Then you've got the Monomolecular Cane Rapier, 4 attack, Xenon freeze, 3-6 lethal 5 up, unchanged. It's got Disruption Field, so ignore the piercing rule. Digital lasers, so this has changed now. Every time you perform a fight action at the start of the roll attack dice step, if you do, inflict 1 damage on an enemy operative in that sequence. So you're always just, instead of doing like the free damage every time you shoot once per game, it'll work like weaker Mandy blasters. Then you've got Mercilist. Whenever you're shooting, fighting against, or retaliating against an enemy operative that's lost any wounds, you gain Balanced. If you already have Balanced, you gain Ceaseless instead. So this is a buff. So if you've got your 6-inch balance ploy up, you now gain Ceaseless instead, which is nice. And then you've got Reputation to maintain. The first time this operative incapacitates an enemy operative during the battle, you can either gain 1 additional CP or use 1 additional warrant of trade, which you haven't used already. Each is really good, but I think you generally go with a +1 command point because you're quite command point starved. Otherwise, Vane is really, really good, and now always is proccing her rerolls because every time she fights, she's now always inflicting 1 damage. So she's better when she fights, and she's 3 APL. So very useful. Then you've got your Canid, who has 2 APL, 8-inch move, 5 up save, 7 wounds. Vicious Bites with 4 attacks, Xenon freeze, 3-4 rending. It's a beast, so it can only perform the actions as you see here, as well as like the pickup marker and place marker. It's got Loyal Companion, so whenever an enemy operative performs a fight action, if this operative is a valid target to fight against, you can force your opponent to fight this operative instead. And when an enemy operative performs a charge action within 3 inches of this operative, you can charge as long as you aren't within engagement range and are on engage. But you have to end your engagement, your move within control range of the enemy operative. So that's unchanged. Then you've got Gather. Perform a free dash or reposition action with this operative. During that move, you can perform the pickup marker or place marker action with this operative, and you can determine control during the action. Any remaining distance from that dash or reposition action can be used after. So you could move 4 inches, pick up something, and then move 4 inches away. Unchanged. You've got your Death Cult Executioner, who has a 3 APL, 6-inch move, 5 up save, and 8 wounds. Dark Mask, which is 4 attacks, on freeze, 1-1 range, 6 lethal 5 up, silent stun. And then a Power Weapon, which is 5 attacks, on freeze, 4-6 lethal 5 up. Rapid Reflexes, so you ignore the piercing weapon rule. And Bladed Stance, when you're fighting or retaliating, you can resolve one of your successes before the normal order, but you have to use the block. So if you're the attacker, you can double block, or you can block and strike, unchanged. And then Zealot, when this operative is incapacitated during the fight action, you can strike with one of your unresolved successes. So this is replacing losing your Feel No Pain. Then you've got Trained Assassin as an action point, change your operative's order, unchanged as well. So a little bit worse because you've lost your 6 up Feel No Pain and you don't hit on 2s. Then you've got your Linktree Maester, who has 2 APL, 6-inch move, 4 up save, 8 wounds. It's got Voltaic Pistol, which is 4 taxi on freeze, 4/4 range 8, 1 inch devastating 1 rending. This used to be 2 inches devastating 1, so it's technically a bit of a nerf. And then it's got Gunbar, which is 3 taxi on force, 2 free. It's got Missionary of the Martian Creed. Once during each of his activations, it can perform the pickup, place marker, or mission action for 1 SAP, which is unchanged. And you've got the Voltaigeist array. So when an operative is shooting a friendly operative within 4 inches of this operative, you can reroll 1 of your defense dice, which is unchanged. You've got Calibrate Voltgeist for 0 AP. Select one of the following, and it's lasts until you next activate. So that's been buffed. So you've got Charge. This operative pistol has lethal 4-up, which is unchanged. And then you've got Field. Whenever an operative performs an enemy operative performs a charge, dash, or fall back, or reposition and ends visible and within 4 inches of the operative, inflict d6 damage. So this has been nerfed. It used to be pick anyone within 6, and you didn't have to require visibility. So it's been reduced, but still a very good operative. You've got your Rejuvenant Adept, who has 2 APL, 6-inch move, now a 4-up save, and now 8 wounds. Used to be 7. Las Pistol is 4 taxing on 4s, 2 free, range 8, and then the Scalpel Claw, which is 3 taxing on 4s, 3/4 rending. It's got the medic ability, so the first time someone dies, they don't die, they're left on 1 with 3 wounds remaining, which is different to all other medics, and then they can do a free dash action, but they must end within control range of this operative. And then you've got the Normalizer Helm. For any operatives within 6 inches of the operative, can ignore any stats to being injured, including its weapon. So it used to be only weapons. So movement. So now if you're within 6 inches of the medic, you just ignore being injured outright. And then you've got Healing Serum for 1 action point. Heal someone for D3 plus 3, and it cannot be someone used the medic ability on. So your medic's actually been buffed. Then you've got the Voidmaster, who has 2 APL, 6-inch move, 5 up save, and 8 wounds. This is the standard profile for the rest of your Navis, although it has 8 wounds, everyone else is 7. Its shotgun has been nerfed. It's 4 attacks hit on 3s, 4/4 range 6. You hit on 2s. And then the long profile is 4 attacks hit on 5s, 2/2. Then you've got a Relic Lance Pistol, which is 4 attacks hit on 3s, 2/4 range 8, lethal 5-up. And then you've got a gun butt. It's got Disciplinarian, so as a support, whenever a friendly Navis operative is within 3 inches of the operative, your friendly operative's ranged weapons, excluding support weapons, have the balanced weapon rule. If it already has balance, it gains useless instead, which is a buff. And then once per turning point, when an attack dice inflicts, once per battle, it's just a scratch, so unchanged. Then you've got Uncompromising Fire. Perform 2 shoot actions with its shotgun and Relic Lance Pistol in any order. So your Voidmaster has actually been nerfed because it no longer hits on 2s, and it doesn't have a normal Las Pistol, which we'll get into later. But otherwise, very, very good. It does now benefit from its own disciplinarian rule, which is nice. Then you've got your Voidsmen. They can either have a Lasgun, which is 4 taxing on 4s, 2 free. The Rotor Cannon, which is now 5 from 6 dice. 8 on 4s, 4/5 from 3/4. Heavy dash only rending. And then the Torrent profile is 4 attacks with rending and Torrent 1. So a bit of a nerf there. Then you've got the Gunbutt. You've got the Crewman, so once per turning point, if you haven't used a support asset, during this turning point, you can counteract with a Voidsman operative that has a conceal order, but you cannot perform any other actions than to shoot, and you must use a private support asset. So you've got summon buffs for if you're out-activated with your Voidsman, but otherwise they're a little bit worse because your Rotor Cannon's been toned down. For your faction equipment, you've got Armored Undersuit. So whenever an operative is shooting a friendly operative with a 5-up save, excluding the dog, you can retain 1 of your saves as a 4-up instead of as a normal success. So everyone with a 5-up save has 1 4-up save during that sequence. Then you've got Hotshot Capacitor Las Packs. Up to twice per turning point, whenever shooting with a Las weapon, you can add 1 to both its damage stats, unless it is the Relic Lance Pistol, so a nerf on your Navis. Then you've got Improved Coordinates Uplink. Whenever a friendly operative is using an asset, if the target is within 6 inches of a friendly Navis operative, that target cannot be obscured, and you have Saturate. So it's effectively, when you're using the asset, if you're shooting a target that's within 6 of a friendly operative, you can ignore those rules, which is fine, I think. And then you've got the Rapid Gunnery. Once per battle, when selecting a support asset, you can select one that's already been used during this battle, and it takes precedence over normal rules. So you always take the Gunnery, so you get 2 space lasers. I think you always take the Armored Undersuit in a shooting matchup. The Hotshot Capacitor is necessary just to like punch through with your other operatives. And I don't know if you take the Coordinates Uplink. I think you can get away with not taking it, but otherwise a decent selection of equipment. For Operative Selection, you have a fixed list of operatives, so I can't really tell you what to run differently. Although you could do like modeling options. As you can see, mine are built from like Necromunda and Escher models because I've like used an aged Elucia Vane as she's aged and like just stolen Eschers. So you have that option. There's actually a bit nice thing about the Starstrider community where we just build up converted teams. So you can do that. It's a nice option available to you if you decide to do so. So for the Starstriders overview, they have been toned down a bit, but they are more fair and honest. They still have a lot more tricks, and they are now definitely way more worse against elites. I still think they're really, really good. They're just really fragile, which they always were. Elucia Vane is kind of a monster. Unfortunately, your Assassin and Voidmaster being nerfed really affects how this team plays, because before they were key damage dealers and they're quite unreliable now just because they've lost hitting on 2s and they are easier to deal with. You know, you still got that damage negation up all the time, but your Voidmasters lost their permanent 4-up save. They've lost being 3-4 and 3-3 with the shotgun. So it was kind of like they would just blaze through stuff. I actually believe the Artificer shotgun used to be 4-4 damage. So it's gone down from 4-4 to 3-3. So it's been nerfed quite a bit, which is depressing. Oh no, it's still 4-4. Ignore me. I'm just going mad. But these minor tweaks, especially like losing the range on the Voltgeist field and requiring visibility, it doesn't sound like a lot, but as someone who's played this kill team extensively, it is. Your assets are a lot more fairer, and you did get a lot of mileage out of abusing them because you were like, look, as long as you don't move up, you're fine. And then opponents would move up, and then you would move and dash and then lance them. You are now always 10 activations, but you can use an one of your wants trade to go 11. Your wants to trade are really, really good. And, you know, you actually get a lot out of recon and security. Like, generally, you can play security and punish your opponent if they don't come to you, or then go recon and just, like, stop popping, confirm kill. They're still a really useful team, but a very tricksy and difficult team to play, especially as they're only a year 1 classified team. But you can get a lot of fun out of modeling them, and they are really interesting. I still think they're really good. They're just more honest than what they were before, which, to be honest, was what they needed and should be fun to play and play against. But that's pretty much it from me today. Please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video. Did you find it useful? And what do you think of the updated Starstrider rules? Remember, I've got a Discord you can check out for free in the episode description below, and a affiliate link at Games and Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. And I'll quickly shout out my patrons. So for my adults of the crew, I have Zombie Businessman, Tom, Supercow, Steven, Sam, Nick, Mercenary Q, Mr. Meatworld, Lucas, John Thomas Graham, Fangzu, Draken, Dave Meatsworld, Darcy, Dad of Golden's Chris, and then for my veterans of the crew, I have Samja and Mark. So thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me and helps support the channel. But yeah, Starstriders are a big favourite of mine. They're still good, which is nice, and I'll probably play some more games to experiment with them. At the moment, elites were already a problem for them last edition. Now they're too much of a problem, and like they can't really beat Felgor and stuff. So I'll probably do some battle reports with them, and I'll play them casually a bit, but I don't think I'll go back to them competitively. But I like how they're balanced and more fun to play and play against, which is good. But remember, no matter how many rogue traders you're fighting against in space, there's always a chance to win, as long as you can roll a crit.